All right, boys and girls, today we are going to be getting rid of this with the help of about 400 million frogs. I welcome that as a background after this cold winter. And we're going to be getting rid of this unsightly mess with the New Rage Cycles. Let's do work. Tools you're going to need are on screen now. As usual, we're going to use my Bondis collection. These are available on my Amazon storefront, link below if you are interested. As you can hear, we are going to be making this install with a plethora of frogs and other assorted creatures of the spring. Take your 4mm, remove this bolt. Now these instructions are on New Rage Cycles channel, but they only use a bunch of pictures and no verbal instructions, so I'm going to give you the detailed one. Set that aside. Repeat that on the other side of the bike. Make note you do not have to remove all 4 of these because there's some hidden behind these fairings here. Only the top 2, and it's going to allow you access to remove your seat. All right, so they tell you to remove the bolts and then take the seat out, but it doesn't necessarily work like that, and that's why I like to make tutorials. So you take the bolts out, then you got to go up here and unfasten these like that, just like that. All right, you're going to remove these 2 4mm bolts here and here. The peep frogs agree. Set those aside. You're gonna grab these 2 Torx 25 right here and over here. All right, NRC guys, this is not a T25, it is a T20. So make note of that, people, it is a T20. Set that aside. Make sure you do not drop your beautiful fairing here. At least on the RVE, it's really beautiful. Love how that says Ducati like that. Love those colors. Good job, Ducati. All right, next position, belly pan. You're gonna remove this 1 screw with a 4mm wrench here, and then on either side right there and there. I was riding this bike in a little bit of wet weather the other day, so if it's dirty, please excuse me. Okay, the next ones are pretty far back there, so I'm gonna use my ball head 4mm, which is actually longer, so I can reach it with a little bit better leverage. I am not affiliated with Bondis. I am affiliated with Amazon. So if you go buy these cool tools and stuff, you can buy me a coffee. Like I need any more caffeine. Okay, your belly pan's gonna come off. Okay, you're gonna disconnect these 3 wires. They have connectors here. And then we're gonna remove these 4mm bolts. You gotta push in these little teeth to unlock these with your fingernail or your thumbnail. Thankfully, Ducati has labeled these for us so we can easily reconnect them. Good job, Ducati. You guys are awesome. Okay, this one might be a bit trickier. I gotta get a tool to put in there. That popped right out. Take out the 4mm. That Loctite. Okay. All right. Good riddance. What? Might be worth $5 on eBay. Don't judge me. All right, we're gonna wire these 2 black ones up through the bottom of the bike. You're gonna see the battery here. This last dot over here, there's 2 on this side, and that's where the hole is. It's pretty easy to find. Now, you're gonna take this plate here. It's actually gonna rest right on top here. You see those 2 holes right there that line up. You're gonna lay that on there. Okay, so you're gonna line it up on those holes there, and then the fairing's gonna sit down right on top of it. And that's how it works. Okay, so we're connecting the wires. You're gonna look back like this and figure out which one's right. Obviously, it's gonna be this wire, which one's left. Okay, so these Ducati wires are labeled DX for Destra, which means right, and SX for Sinistra, which means left. Connect accordingly. Okay, DX is right. All right, these are just not going in for me. I think the pins on the NRC have to be adjusted up a little bit. Okay, I fed these back down through because it's ridiculously hard to get these on. These are pretty sharp, as you can see my fingers indented there. So I'd recommend maybe doing this with gloves. I think one of the pins on the NRC is too far down. I gotta find a tool to fit in there to lift it up a little bit. There it goes. Before we install anything further, let's make sure these lights work. That's the right. Nice. And left. Cool. Nice and bright. Let's finish the install. All right, you're gonna grab your original 2 bolts to reinstall the fender on top of this new unit here. I'm not gonna tighten this all the way right now because something just doesn't feel right about the back of this. All right, let's see if we install the Torx bolts, if that makes this look better and eliminates hopefully all of that play. Remember, get your T20 Torx. It's not T25 like they say. I'm not gonna tighten it yet. I wanna make sure everything's lined up and perfect. I do like my Ducatis to look good. All right, yours truly is a perfectionist, as you may know by now, and that is not perfect. It's not perfectly lined up. So I'm gonna loosen it, try to adjust the play a little bit and get that lined up perfectly, hopefully. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm pulling the fender all the way back as far as it'll go. There's a tiny bit of play in the fender. And I'm pushing the NRC unit as far towards the front of the bike as it'll go. Let's hope that cleans it up. Okay, that looks better. So because there's a tiny bit of play in the fender, you're going to want to pull the fender back as far as it'll go. And because there's more play in the NRC unit, you're going to want to push that as far forward as it'll go and then tighten it up. Okay, we're going to install these new NRC plate brackets onto the bike. Okay, when you install these, you can't see this in the instructions, but you're going to want to make sure that these plate holders on the side here are facing the back of the bike. Duh, I know, but sometimes we just install stuff the wrong way and then realize afterwards. So it's going to go like that. Okay, we're going to reuse our stock bolts. We're going to apply a little bit of Loctite. Of course, we're going to get it all over our finger, just like every other time. There's a lot of play in these as well. Just an FYI, you might need to adjust these. So we're going to just not tighten those fully. Okay, you're going to attach the plate holder to these 2 brackets with the NRC included 4mm bolt. You're going to want a 10mm wrench for the nut. Okay, next we're installing the plate holder to these brackets that we just installed. You're going to need your 4mm and a 10mm wrench for the nut, or if you're lazy like me, needle nose pliers will do in a pinch, no pun intended. It doesn't tell you which bolts to use, the black ones or the silver, but I figured out you have to use the silver. If you attach it facing out like this, as opposed to facing in, which is what I like to do, I like it to be more sleek with my license plate facing in, it doesn't work. So, all right, so I also recommend feeding up the license plate light wire up as far as it will go, so you can have a bit less slack that you have to tuck in on top of the belly pan. Then we'll just tuck these blinker wires over to the side so they don't get smashed. Make sure your wires are tucked nicely before you put this on. All right, now we're gonna pop the seat on and take a look. Okay, so if you remember right, you have these 2 prongs. You have to go into these 2 holes up here. You gotta make sure that you have this hook slotted in right here. Okay, you're gonna pop the 2 bolts back in here to hold the seat in. All right, so here's how we ended up. So here's what you have to do. This was not clear in the instructions, but if you want to have this in, especially if you want to have this in a tucked format like I prefer, you have to put the license plate holder tabs on the inside of the license plate holder brackets. Okay. Say here's a license plate holder tab on the inside. Now that doesn't fit well at first glance. It's really awkward the way that that fits in there. But when you tighten everything up, it's fine. There's a little bit of flex in the metal and it looks much better this way. So I did have to talk to NRC, and to their credit, they were immediately responsive, and I appreciate that. I was a little bit confused because these big silver nuts on their website are right here in their pictures, and it was really ugly. But they said that I can use the 2 black nuts that come with this for here, and it looks much, much better, as you guys can see. It only came with 2 license plate holder bolts, but whatever. And it doesn't really fit the Connecticut license plates at all. I guess each state has different motorcycle license plates. Very stupid of America to have no standardization in their license plates, I guess. So I'm gonna have to just do this diagonally, one here and one here for now at least. What I could do is I'll probably try to drill out this plastic, or maybe I can put a tie wrap in there. I've done that in the past too. But this looks much better with this tucked like this. You can tuck it in even more if you want to. I like a nice tuck on mine. I might actually push that in a little bit more, but I don't want to stress out the boys in blue and waste their time pulling me over, so I want to make sure it's visible. But yeah, this is the best looking tail tidy I've ever seen. It's super slimline. You can barely even see it. It matches the contour of your tail fender perfectly. As you guys have seen, it's nice and bright. The peep frogs are still in agreement. Nice and clean. The only thing I'll do is I'll take this wire and I'll probably run it on this side of the license plate and then maybe put a black tie wrap on it just to make it a tiny bit cleaner. But other than that, this is a beautiful thing. A much needed mod for this bike. Gorgeous. It's an essential mod. Also, kudos to NRC for getting this out the door really fast. I believe this is the first tail tidy for this bike, maybe even the first mod for this bike. So good job on them. All right, guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. And always remember the motto, always be kinder than necessary, and I will see you in the next one. Beautiful. Gorgeous. Can't even see it from this angle. Good job, NRC.